Hi guys, Buenos what tardes. Yeah, Real Madrid 3, Atletico Madrid 2. I think it was overall a good game. Uh there's a lot to say actually. Hopefully TikTok or Instagram will allow me the space and time. Yep, 3-2. Shout out Valverde. He's coming into that RWRM role that Abloa is really requiring of him. It reminds me of Carlo Ancelotti when he was more so playing on RW when Rodrigo wasn't like the best, so he wasn't healthy. So it's nice to see that side of the goal scoring attributes that Valverde has shown in the past. It's nice seeing that he's able to replicate it even under new management. Because under Xavi Alonso, he's playing a little bit more in the back. Even under Carlo Ancelotti, sometimes he plays right back. So Valverde, he's a all action midfielder, all action player. So he was good. Vinicius Jr. also pulled his weight. That goal, shout out Trent. When he came on, your word Malik, when he came on, he was a different maker. I think Trent is a phenomenal addition. A lot of my Madrid friends be commenting saying that when it comes to defense, of course, but he passed the Doku test, so he still issues. If I was still the other team, I would focus on that side because you could kind of do some damage. But the output offensively, chance after chance after chance, and today was goal. Vinicius Jr. was a nice shot attempt on the border of the 16-yard box, but it was just a nice teamwork. Mbappe came on, he made a difference when it comes to running in behind, giving Vinicius Jr. the space to be able to execute what he did. So it seems like the team is coming along. I don't know how well they would start all together, and you even see Jew coming off the bench. So hopefully, like our injured players don't re-agitate the injury, and hopefully they become healthy. Because now that we don't have Tebow, when it comes to the goalkeeper position. I know, although Lunin has done it in the past, I think 22, 23 or 23, 24, I think 22, 23 season, when Tebow was injured for more or less the whole year until the Champions League finals, Lunin was the guy who carried us all the way to the finals. So I have high hopes for him. He's done it before. Why can't he do it again? And that team back in the day with Nacho, Carvajal sometimes playing a center back, it wasn't like the best of teams. Even Horsley was there. Um, and he's a legend now. But at the time, everyone's like, RIP, we don't have Benzema no more. Yeah, so that was that. But for Athletic Madrid, I don't think they came to play. I couldn't see a concrete tactic from their angle. When Sloth came, I could see that they're doing like long balls across him because he was very tall and like a target forward in that respect. So it would make sense. They had a couple of headers, especially at the end of the 90. Some chances that he could have scored in. But besides that, like, what tactic did they have? That the first goal, poor defense in our respect, is what it is. It happens. Second goal was a rocket. I was like Valverde 2.0, Roberto Carlos prime CR7 shot, Hulk. But like you can't really do anything about that. No goalkeeper in the world could save that. They gave him space, and who would have thought Molina could shoot like that? Because I certainly did it. I was clapping my hands because that was a beautiful goal. Yeah, but overall, it was. I feel like it was an easy dub. Not easy dub because it's Atletico Madrid, but I feel like the game was kind of in Madrid's control, in Real Madrid's control. If the goals were going to come, it felt like it was going to come from Real Madrid throughout the full 90. I wasn't really that worried. Even when we were down, I'm like, Madrid is in form. And I know Atletico Madrid is in form as well, what they did in the Champions League, how they blasted Tottenham. And in the league, I think they won the last 5 prior to the game against Madrid today. And I know our record against Atletico Madrid recently hasn't been the best. It's either a loss or draws and draws and draws. But I watched Bale podcast with Roy Keane and Ian Wright and Gary Neville, and he was more so talking about how like Madrid's controlling egos. You don't really do tactics, stuff like that. And when I look at this Madrid team, I'm like, even though we lost against Barcelona, or we lost against Atletico Madrid, or hypothetically we lost against Man City, in which we did it, on any given day, those star-studded players can turn up. Now that Mbappe is back, he could turn up. He really has. I think he still has the most goals, and he's been away for a minute. Brahim Diaz is still like Morocco's second best player. Hakimi is number 1. But what he did in CONCACAF, what he did in the AFCON was like tremendous. So we still have people that could ball out, and Brahim Diaz, I think, balled out as well. But anyways, back forward, Lunin, I think he did 8 out of 10. Solid. Nice to know that we have like another star-studded keeper outside of Thibaut Courtois just waiting for his chance, and he's always patient in that regards. You know, he's not hungry like when Thibaut was on Chelsea and there was check. Thibaut was like, "I'm the guy. Like, hurry up, get this guy out." Luna's like, "I could be the backup guy." You know what I mean? Right back, Carvajal is nice to see a fresh start. I hear that Trent wasn't starting because he was late to practice or he's late to the training or whatever. And Arbeloa was like, okay, I'm putting my foot down in this respect, which is good for him. I guess I'm like, who knows to do that? Because recently in the press conference, he's been a little like, how did I say it? PG. He's been a little soft on the players. So it's nice to see him, incorporating that Iron Fist role a bit. Rudiger and Dean, that partnership is coming into fruition. Hopefully, Asensio, when he's fully fit and he comes back, he doesn't really interrupt that. Maybe he could be used as like a Supercopa, Copa del Rey, maybe a game against Levante, Rayo Vallecano, stuff like that. But in the major ones, it seems like the Dean Rudiger one is fine. Let's just solidify that. Dean himself has been coming into what it means to be a Real Madrid defender. I think he almost had a shaky header back, but outside of that, he's played phenomenal. Even like the 88th or 89th minute, when it was about to be a 2-1, he just kicked the ball out. I was like, good, don't play around. He's been maturing, and he's 20 years old. So as much as I, critique him, he's 20 years old, just like Gula. I think Gula is 21. Before I get to Gula, Fran Garcia, he just does his job. I think he's absolute trash, but he does his job. He's one of those people who knows the trash and just happy to be a part of the team, and he will contribute where needed. I think he's trash. I think he's a liability too. If you want to pen Trent, you could deke out and maybe low ball in the box, maybe shot. If you want to pen, just dance around Fran Garcia. He's gonna Santa Cruz in the box. That's for sure. But overall, I'll give him like a 6.5. He does nothing but run sometimes. Offensively, he's the worst player I've ever seen. Backline, overall, solid 7 today. Or 7.5 if I'm being nice. Tchouaméni, I think Tchouaméni a dog, you know what I mean? I've always loved the guy. I don't think he does much wrong. I didn't really see too much of him today, I'm not gonna lie, but solid performances from a solid guy. It's not always think ball into Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe. Sometimes it's just 90 minutes of pure defensive control, and that's what he showed. I believe that's what he showed, because I was really looking at him. Camavinga, when he came on, horrible, so let's not talk about him. Can't wait till he gets sold, I'm not gonna lie. He's a legend. He's like a pseudo legend for the club, where it's like Camavinga was him a couple years ago, or 3 years ago when he won the UCL. He was him, I can't lie. But like nowadays, because of injuries, repeated injuries, he's just not the same Camavinga that we thought he would become. And injuries happen, so no one's blaming Camavinga. He did his job. He has UCLs. You know what I mean? So yeah, but wasn't the best, I will say. Diego, it's nice having a guy. I don't know where Ceballos is. Is he injured? But it's nice having a guy that could come in from the youth academy and can represent, RM Casilla, I believe, a little bit, because we haven't had that in like since not Raul Asensio, but since the proper Asensio. So it's nice to see that. But outside of that, I'm like, yeah, he's whatever. He doesn't do much wrong, but he doesn't do much right either. Solid pick, you need to fill up the 11. You call him, I guess. We'll wait till the summer transfer window to see if we're going to sign anyone and see if Piers will make changes in that department. I know we want Warden, and we're looking for, I think, Stiller still, but Diego is fine. He can do the job for now until everyone comes back. Shout out Jude for that one. On the left side, Vinny, who's more like LF. He's been evolving from an LW to LF. To LW to LF. Sometimes in the game he occupies the LF position, left forward position, or even like a CF position, and then sometimes he truly occupies like an LW position. Even today, the last couple of games, you see Mbappe occupy that CF position, sometimes LW position, but a lot of times RW position, which is very interesting. I think that's like a conscious thing that both Vinny and Mbappe probably talked about. Like Vinny's more threatening or less threatening on the right hand side than Mbappe is. And if you want a good balance between those two when they come on, it's like, okay, Mbappe might have to sacrifice a little bit coming on the right. As much as he sacrifices coming on as a striker, he's still scoring the most goals. But coming on the right, coming on striker, it might have to be like it seems like it's a thing that they discussed. I'm probably missing some other people, but overall, the mid, I'll give a solid 7. I really like Gula today. I really like how he controls the game. I really like how we're subbing him off like the 70th, 80th minute. I do not want that guy to get injured. He's low key crucial, very crucial for the team in terms of the control element. He's been playing much better. You know, he's like the dean in a sense. And in the beginning, I was a little shaky. You know, he has the assists, he has the stuff. I was a little shaky in the full 90 overall play. And now I'm like the reverse. He might not get the assist, but fantastic in the full 90. And that's why we're winning these games. I'm very impressed with Goulet. But yeah, so that's my kind of analysis on the 3-2 Real Madrid Athletic Madrid game. Anyways, gotta bounce.